If you are in perimenopause and you're having sleep issues, then here is an explanation and some sleep advice that probably nobody gave you. Part of it is understanding what is actually happening. Yes, that involves the nervous system, and also, yes, we will see some very interesting approaches to the solution. This video has 3 parts. The first part is a simple principle. The second part is more important for you, though. It is to understand the nature of your specific sleep issue. And that might be surprising for you. You will have more clarity from this anyway. And the third part is a selection of practical tools that are relatively simple to implement. But they make sense only after you understood why. That simple principle is, when you sit in a hole, stop digging. That means do not lead discussions in the evening. Do not meet people who dysregulate you. For example, if you enjoy spending time with a group of friends, but one of them is dysregulating you, then until your sleep issue is fixed, do not meet them in the evening. Also, do not open any letters in the evening. If there's a love letter from the tax authority, then you cannot resolve it at midnight, right? It will only ruin your sleep. And if there's an issue with sleep compatibility with your partner, could be from snoring or that they wake you up when they get up, then sleep somewhere else until your general sleep issue is resolved. That is meant by, if you sit in a hole, stop digging. So stop doing the things that make it worse. Now, let's understand your specific sleep issue. Is the problem falling asleep, or staying asleep, or going to bed, or is the problem that the sleep is not restorative? They all require different actions. If the problem is going to bed in time, then you rather have a circadian rhythm issue. Then, for a while, generally set yourself a fixed time. You get up and you go to sleep. That should be the same every single day, not for the rest of your life. Most people can recalibrate within 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if not sleeping through is your issue, know that sleeping through is not natural for everyone. Our species does not naturally turn into a log at 9 p.m. and then get up 8 or 9 hours later. There's considerable evidence that our species, human sleep, is biphasic, has 2 phases. Before the Industrial Revolution and before artificial lighting, the natural way was to go to sleep with the sun and then naturally wake up in the middle of the night and for an hour or 2 do some things. So back then some people would do some work, some people would do handcrafting, some people would clean or cook, make babies or go for a walk or chat with the neighbors. All of that was completely normal in the middle of the night. And then they would go to bed again because tiredness would always come back after 1 or 2 hours, and that led to the so-called second sleep. And that ended with sunrise in countries not far from the equator anyway. And this natural rhythm still is there in many countries, in many cultures. And it used to be in even more countries and cultures. And we can see that in literature that is older than the Industrial Revolution, for example. Very often there's mentioned the first sleep and the second sleep, and both of those happening at night. So they did not mean siesta during the day. So that means the sheer fact of not sleeping through is not an issue at all. It is, in fact, very natural. See, when you wake up, for example, thought experiment, you wake up and you know today is your free day, 100% free. You have 0 commitment. You can sleep in as long as you want. If you wake up on such a day, look at the clock and it's, say, 4:30 in the morning. Then will you be annoyed and miserable? No. You will see it's too early. Then you will remember, I can sleep in as long as I want. No responsibilities. And then you will smile and then go back to sleep eventually for another hour or 2 or 3. And maybe you even find it comfortable that you just woke up, because nothing beats the feeling of not needing to get up, right? That means the sheer fact of waking up is not the issue. The issue is waking up against a backdrop of should. I should this, I should that, I should sleep through. That is the main issue of not sleeping through. I should sleep through. No, you should not. It's not necessary. You should not sleep through. You should sleep however is most natural to you. As soon as that should goes away, then when you wake up in the middle of the night, you use the bathroom, you go back to sleep, and you can enjoy that exact same smile from the earlier scenario, knowing I have 3 more hours. Case solved. If only it were that easy always. Good to keep in mind is also that we have these phases, the deep sleep, the dream, and the light sleep. Many people in light sleep come very close to being awake. Some people then sleepwalk, and some people just doze a little, and some people cross that line and do become awake 2-3 times during the night. Some people go to the bathroom naturally 3-4 times during the night. None of this is an issue for your sleep quality if it is not connected to stress. If stress is the reason to keep you up at night, or the mind is too active, or there's some anxiety involved, then that is an issue. Waking up by itself is not damaging to your health at all. And that having said, of course, when the bladder and the prostate and all these things, when they're checked, that means waking up 3 or 4 times at night is not in itself damaging when you ruled out the potential causes that really could point to some physiological issue. Some people take even 5 or 6 naps throughout the day and at night sleep only for a few hours. And if that is their natural sleep, that will not work for anyone. But if it is for them the natural pattern, then it will work for them. I would not recommend it to anybody who does not have that pattern. So sleep can be fragmented, is the bottom line, as long as we get our required time in, required time of deep sleep and REM sleep over the course of the day. A serious issue with sleeping through at night or waking up in the middle of the night is when the mind is racing upon waking up. So you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, totally wired. That could be an overactive thyroid. It could be from anxiety. It could be cortisol at the wrong time, when the baseline of the nervous system is overtaxed. So look into these possible causes. And most importantly, do not look first into how you can fall asleep in the evening, but how you can start your day. Because the beginning of the day is telling the nervous system what state it is supposed to be in for the next 12 to 18 hours. So the morning decides how your sleep hormone regulation will go the following night. And that morning decides also how ready your adrenaline and cortisol will be to fire, up to also 12 to 18 hours later. That means if you get bad news or something upsetting is in the evening, to which degree that will dysregulate you, and how ready your stress hormones will override your physical need for sleep. When you feel you're not, on top of the work, you have to do more, already it's late. All of this state. A big part of that is decided in the morning, by the way you get up, what you do first. That has the big influence on that following evening. So if you start your morning in a way that puts the nervous system in a calm and non-reactive state, and you choose to do that all the time, then it learns that this is the new normal, and even in the long term, will calibrate to that through neuroplasticity, the ability to learn new ways of functioning. So get a morning routine that is cortisol regulated. That is the most important. There are so many different ways as to how exactly build such a morning routine for a perimenopausal nervous system in particular, and one also that fits exactly for you, that is doable, that is a whole area of work on its own. And it does deserve its own discussion and dedicated space. We do that in the therapy, for example, and in courses. And most people need 7 to 10 days to see first very good improvements. But let's start now with what you can do today. Here's a list of things that you can do, and at the end, how to implement them, because you don't want to start all of these at the same time. One thing to keep in mind throughout this list is take note which of these you absolutely do not want to do, because that is important information that can point to a hidden key for your regulation as well. We'll come to that in the end. Here goes the list. So, first of all, your phone cannot be online. You can keep your phone there, but not online, because then you will get surprises, algorithms, that is all cortisol. And it's potential adrenaline even. Before you even know what day of the week it is, you're already flooded. That is not helpful. So if you do need your phone, then have the things you want to watch or listen to in the morning already downloaded. That can be a documentary, for example, or music, or a lecture, meditation, whatever you want to wake up with that is on the phone, have that downloaded. So the phone keeps offline. Some people actually need a screen in order to even feel able to get up. If that is you, then I would suggest look for multiple sources to give you the dopamine that you lack in the morning. Could be your favorite coffee or a medication that gives you the dopamine, the serotonin also, to give you the motivation to get up. See, for some people a cold shower will do, but for some people that is not at all how things work, and they really need medication to get up. That is nothing to be ashamed of. Medication for a length of time may even be able to reprogram the brain for the better, because dopamine from the phone, that is the lowest type of activation in anticipation of something that never actually happens, and it fires too fast also. It is not gratification, it is just hoping for the gratification. And that is really quite dangerous. And medication works differently. For a while, that can absolutely be warranted to address the issue of getting up in the morning. To wean off that cheap type of dopamine that comes from a phone, use whatever you have to. Do what you have to do. Okay, as long as it is not damaging your health, that is. Cigarettes and cocaine are also stimulants, but yeah, they will damage your health. I suggest you not use these at all. Some people report good results from microdosed psychoactive substances, which are legal in their jurisdiction. Microdose meaning a dose that does not give them a high, but does raise the serotonin. Just saying, this is not advice. This is just for your information only. Or if you want to go fully cold turkey, then just get an old-fashioned alarm clock. This is a lot more relevant than at what time you switch off your screen at night. And also this blue light stuff is not that relevant. How you start the morning, that is relevant. Get some sun rays if you can. Go outside for a recalibration of your melatonin. You heard that right, the sleep hormone. Did you know that the angle and the color spectrum of the rays of morning sun hitting your retina inside your eyes decide melatonin production 12 hours later? The sleep hormone is stimulated with a time delay by certain colors of the sunlight, and also when they hit your eyes in a particular angle. So take advantage of that. Step outside, even if it's just to stand around there for a few minutes. Look at the vague direction of the sun, not directly in it, of course. If the sun is not visible, then still look in that direction. Remove the glasses for that, and remove the hat if you can. Let the sunlight meet the eyes as directly as possible without damaging as early as you can, before 9 a.m. Any length of time you can do that will benefit you. If you can do it only for 5 minutes, then do that for 5 minutes. Only 1 minute, then do 1 minute. But the effect is cumulative. So try to make it happen for 15 minutes, or as long as you can. If that helps fix your sleep, then it's also warranted to get up 15 minutes earlier. I don't have time to stand around for 15 minutes. Is not actually the case when otherwise your sleep is not restorative. No? Sleeping better saves you a lot more time than 15 minutes. That should be clear. Our mind can have no end excuses why we cannot become balanced. So do not fall for that in case it is telling you these things why it's not possible to be in the sun for some minutes. Similarly, the evening sun also plays a role. The sunset rays are extra calming and induce sleep a few hours later. Both together are the perfect match. Morning sun, evening sun for a few minutes, already doing a lot of the work. Try it out. So we have addressed going to bed, falling asleep, sleeping through. Now, when sleep is not restorative. That means there is a systemic issue. Getting a medical checkup is the first thing to do if you have that. Then, if there is no physical problem found, then it is likely at the level of the nervous system. What you do then is resort to all the tips you have heard for all the other sleep issues, plus you get a few extra tips. Your body might need a ritual or a cue to switch from, oh, I have so much workload, or there is so much social situation going on, to now I can really switch off. If you have problems, really calling it a day and your mind still stays on the job or some work in the evening, then set a clear rule. I will not go back to the computer after dinner, and dinner will be no later than 8, for example, or 9, whatever is realistic for you. And let that be non-negotiable for a while. And you can utter to yourself, this shop is closed for today. Really say that out loud, don't just think it. Speaking such a sentence and hearing it, now this shop is closed for today. Even if it's silly, that is just a clear assistance to your system. This is the moment when we will switch the state. And in time, it will learn, it will follow. Then, after dinner, do something that is not activating. No drama, No video calls with difficult people, also with people who are only complaining a lot. They cannot be talked to at that time of day because that would jeopardize your health. This is your official prescription to not talk to certain people, you know whom I mean, after 7 p.m. for at least 3 weeks. Also, consider a warm foot bath directly before sleep, and if you have a prayer or meditation or such a ritual, then also do that after all your duties. Not just for religious reasons, for tangible nervous system reasons. Gratitude also is generally a fine thing, of course, but neurologically it is a great tool for good sleep because anxiety and gratitude cannot coexist at the same time in our system. So use that. When you list 5 things you are grateful for at this very moment, you try to find 5 different things every day so that you really have to think about them and search for them. That will automatically interrupt any anxiety that is present at that moment. There are so many more small things that you can do, but that list is already long enough for now. So for one, I just want to tell you, do not underestimate these ideas just because they're small and sound simple. They are very, very effective. Secondly, do not stress yourself for doing 12 new things for stress reduction. Make a concerted plan to introduce 1 or 2 changes every couple of days. Take it easy and take it from there. And third, look at one thing of that entire list which you are least willing to do. There's a chance that this one has a hidden important function for you that is connected to neurochemicals. It could be a form of self-medication, just to function, which is why it is out of the question to change it. Then that would also require a different conversation. Just look at it again and investigate a little there. Let me know in the comments which of these worked for you, and maybe if you have questions, and also which topics should be addressed. This is a new channel and it's for you, so if you like, you can also shape it. I wish you sound sleep and may you wake up with a smile every day.